what's like a kind of safety thing to do, because we got fucked in the ass basically, because I felt like IG wouldn't touch me. But then we got banned the same day I felt something was supposed to happen. So like a good paid sub traffic source just stopped, and we have like similar IG pages. So I feel like maybe they'll be banned as well pretty soon. So is there any like, not quick fix, but what should we set up to be more safe in the future, and what platforms is easier to build up before we like don't make money in 1 to 2 months, if that makes sense?
Yeah, 100%. Now, first of all, like it's like a couple of questions, so I'll try to answer every single one of them and everything that makes sense, because now we have the time, right? First of all, when it comes to these accounts that get banned, and like we kind of mentioned it in the past, but when it comes to should we unban those accounts or not, which is always a question, right? Even if it wasn't specifically stated there, the calculation is always the subs it brings per day, like plus like the sub price, the sub earnings it brings you per day, times the average fan span, times the agency cut. So that tells you if the account unbanned is worth, right? So if the account brings you, I don't know, let's say 2 or 3 grand a month in, and you keep like 1.5K out of that unban, everything below 1.5K in unban cost is worth, because you're going to get that money back, right? In terms of the links itself, because that has been part of the question, like should you add links, when should you do them, and which? On the small accounts, like between 300, 800 followers, don't put the links yet. That's what I can tell, because that's the same mistake that probably caused the original ban, right? And adding those promo links to small accounts is just the fastest way to get a ban again, right? So on these small accounts, because they don't generate much traffic, you want to be super safe. So Instagram kind of trusts you, kind of like let me give a good example, man. Like imagine you run a relationship, okay? You're in a relationship with a beautiful woman, and let's say you have a super bad trait to yourself. I'm trying to make this as safe for work as possible, right? Let's say you always, I don't know, drink like 10 beers before sleeping. That's just who you are, right? You're not gonna do that in the first 1 or 2 months of the relationship, right? In the first 2 months, you're like best person ever, caring, supporting, right? You're gonna start doing that over time, and it's the same way you should treat IG. The quick fix path for this specific situation is first self-appeal the main account first. I wouldn't work with an unbanned guy before, because every unbanned guy tells you that they should do the appeal, but you can just do that yourself, right? While you have the appeal on the main account, try to push the small accounts towards like 1K followers, just posting your normal content, being super, super safe, and just kind of cross promote, right? Follow my second account on the story, all that stuff. Just you can kind of get them above that follower account. And from then on, don't try to panic pivot platforms, because you asked like what's easier to build up. That is what's going to just cost you all the progress, right? Because right now everyone's getting banned. Like it's not you doing something more wrong or you doing something like in the different way than everyone else. Right now everyone's getting banned. So if you stick to Instagram, what's going to happen is you're going to reduce the ban risk with like the Monday call with what we talked about, right? How to get those ban risks down, but you're going to lose accounts, like for sure. But you always have to keep in mind that 95% of your competition is also getting banned. So right now on Instagram, everyone's losing their accounts. So the playing field was just leveled. Before you were competing with like 5 million, 10 million follower models doing better reels than you, looking better than you, posting more often than you, having a better funnel, better chatting, better profile than you. You were losing that battle at any front. Now the playing field is even. And the majority of the agencies that are getting banned now are going to do exactly that. They're going to go to Reddit, to Twitter, right, to Threads, dating apps, YouTube. They're all going to switch. They're all going to lose their accounts. A lot of them go out of business entirely. So you just pushing through, saying, okay, we're going to stick to Instagram. We're going to figure this shit out. It's not necessarily going to get easier, but it gets like 30% harder. But now you have 95% more market cap, because the demand is the same. There's still the same people, probably more, that want to subscribe to OF girls, but there's just a fraction of the OF girls left. And if the demand is high and the supply is very low, everyone who knows about the prohibition in America knows this prices and the money you're going to make are just going to go through the roof. So I like, again, it's obviously your decision. If you have to keep the lights on by any means, okay, you can quickly try to get some subs off of Twitter, off of Reddit. That's cool. But try to keep IG as a main platform, because this is where the money is currently coming from. And it's just going to get better. That's my take on it.